Okay, we just saw one called The Mustang, which was a prison movie about some convicts out in the middle of a Nevada desert in this special prison where they were bringing in wild Mustangs and training them to sell them back to Border Patrol and the police. This was they were kind of in association with
Bureau of Land
Management.
It is an actual program that exists in several western states: Wyoming, California, Nevada.
Yeah, and the prison looked like a real prison, so I'm assuming that's...
I'm thinking they probably shot it in a real prison.
You're right.
I mean, it looked everything about it looked very realistic.
Yeah, and it was kind of run down. It might have been an abandoned prison.
That's what I was thinking.
But, yeah, and all the guys in it look like real convicts and stuff, and it's kind of an interesting story about a guy who he's getting into raising and training horses, and it's kind of like an analogy for him trying to master himself and his own demons. You know, shit goes down pretty much like it kind of does a lot in prison movies, you know, where certain guys get killed and dilemmas kind of happen and they work themselves out. I really don't want to steal the movie's thunder because I enjoyed the movie. It was kind of like an art house flick. I think this was in Sundance Film Festival, right? You noticed that?
Yeah, and it was there was like Studio Canal, like France and Belgium and stuff like that. It was all Robert Redford was one of the executive producers.
Bruce Dern was in it.
Bruce Dern was in it.
Old Bruce Dern. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he did a good job.
It is a very art house film, but in some ways, I don't know. Like, I really enjoyed it a lot. I mean, you know, the cinematography is beautiful, like all these really big vistas of Nevada and stuff like that.
Good score.
And the guy that plays the main character, Roman Coleman, he's so good because, I mean, for a lot of the movie, one of the main points of the story is that he's been in isolation. At the beginning, they're putting him back in general population, and he's not a people person.
He doesn't say much.
He doesn't say much. He's very stoic.
Yeah.
But he has like a lot of like really bad anger issues, and he's very easily frustrated. So when he kind of gets tapped for this horse training program, him and this particular horse that's really hard to break is like really kind of praised and stuff like that. So he kind of bonds with the animal and sort of like at least like starts to get a hold of himself as he like bonds with this animal who has a lot in common with him.
Yeah, and some twists happened, and it was kind of about there were themes about self-control and freedom and stuff like that. Also, there was some stuff that happened with some friends that he had in the program, which I don't want to spoil that. But real good score. The acting was excellent. The storytelling was pretty good. I thought it was really good, actually. It was kind of like prison movie meets Western, because these guys kind of have a cowboy quality, and some of the guys have kind of like an Indian quality to them. It feels like a Western in some ways.
It very much had that type of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But it almost like struck me as kind of more like a 70s style. Like, I guess the pacing of it was a lot more like a 70s type movie, like one of the big like set out in the West and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a cool movie. I'd recommend it.
Yeah,
I
liked it a lot. It is like a very art house movie. You know what I mean? So
you're not talking about a fast-paced action
movie. Right, it's not an action movie
or
like that. It's a character study more than anything.
Right, and it's a very authentic feel to it.
Yeah.
So it just depends on whether or not this is something you'd be into.
Yeah.
If you like prison movies, maybe Westerns, you could probably dig this movie.
Yeah, I think you probably dig it. I liked it a lot. I found it very enjoyable. And I got like really into like, I was like really emotionally invested in like all the characters and their horses and stuff like that. So I got really into it,
Yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, it's Tom and Jen, and we saw two today. First one we saw was one called Little, and it's about this woman who is she owns a software company, and she ends up getting cursed by this little girl who had black girl magic, from what she said, and turned her small, and then she tried to it's kind of a long story. She had to kind of like relive her life in a certain way and go back to school and kind of correct the problems that she had.
Because she was a bitch on wheels.
She's a bitch, yeah. And it was a good movie, though. It was funny.
It was super cute. It was kind of like Big, you know, the Tom Hanks movie. A similar premise where he's like the kind of opposite.
Yeah, it was definitely a feel-good movie. You don't, you know, it was just a fun, feel-good movie, really, more than anything else, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I really liked the relationship between her when she gets turned into a little girl and her assistant, who she had been browbeating for the entire movie and being a shit to, and then, you know, but when she turns into a kid, she's suddenly like dependent on the assistant, and she starts to appreciate her.
Yeah, the whole basically the whole theme of the story is that we kind of know who we are when we're kids, and then life beats it out of you, and then you have to kind of like remember who you were, or re-embrace who you were. That was part. Don't be an asshole. And don't be an asshole. Yeah.
Words to live by.
But other than that, you know, it's a good movie. I think it was probably appropriate for pretty much everyone, age-wise. And I must say one thing is that girl who played the kid, she carried the movie. What was her name again?
She really was fantastic. Now I can't remember.
I can't remember.
We looked at the thing, but we've seen another movie since.
Yeah, she could sing, she could dance, and she could act. And she could act like an adult.
She sold it. Because, like, so much of the movie, like, you know, the character was an adult for really only the beginning and the end. I mean, for the whole middle of the movie, she was a kid. And you totally bought that. You totally bought that was an adult in a kid's body.
Her last name was Martin.
Yeah.
Her last name was Martin.
Yeah.
She could sing, act, and you probably see her in other movies. She's probably about 13, probably.
Yeah, she was supposed to be 13 in the movie, and I don't know if she's older than that. She can't be that much older, because she does look like a little kid.
Yeah, she's probably around
she was phenomenal in this. It's like she totally sold that role. And like I said, her interactions with the woman that played her assistant April was like really, really cute.
Yeah.
But
thumbs up. You know, it's good.
It was a cute movie. It's a, you know, it's nothing deep or anything like that, but it was funny and entertaining and stuff. So, you know, I enjoyed it.
Okay, second one we saw Hellboy.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, Hellboy was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I saw the first Hellboy. And
now, is this isn't quite a remake, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It sort of is.
It's not exactly the same story.
It's not exactly the same story, but it seemed very similar.
It's a reboot.
Yeah, kind of.
And it's his origin story, and then by the end of it, I guess you know, he and the team are together.
Yeah.
You know, I've never read any of the comic books. I only saw the first movie.
Yeah, I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah, and I would just say that it was fun to watch. It had a lot more monsters than the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of good action. The edit was really fast. It unfolded pretty quickly.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's like a lot.
There's a lot in it.
In this movie.
I never got bored.
Yeah. Really gory. I like
real
that.
Gory, a lot of cussing. Gory. Yeah, it was good, and it kind of had like a very light-hearted tone to it. It's like a light-hearted monster movie with a lot of gore. And
it's kind of blackly comic, you know, because he's very, you know, sardonic, and he's always kind of making these quips and stuff like that.
I had no complaints about the movie.
I didn't either. I thought it was super fun, and like I said, I really liked like all the big action set pieces. All the monsters were really cool.
Yeah, and the monsters were famous sometimes. Monsters from legendary monsters. You know, I don't want to spoil everybody who shows up, but there's a lot of stuff from mythology. One of my favorite, a lot of witches. I'm just going to say that. And a lot of really cool witch action. Yeah. Almost like one witch kills two other witches, kind of like Suspiria style. Crunches them up and they crunch up. Remember that?
Yeah.
And, all right, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it, man. Baba Yaga's in this shit. And the house.
And weren't we just saying the other day that Baba Yaga should be in every movie? Because they took her out of Dracula Untold. And we were like, every movie should have Baba Yaga in it. Well, this one does. And the house with the chicken feet and everything.
All movies really should have Baba Yaga in.
That's what I'm saying. We were just saying that the other day, and we didn't even know that Baba Yaga was going to be in this movie.
I'd see fucking James Bond with Baba Yaga. James Bond and Baba Yaga. Superman with Baba Yaga. It was
Forrest Gump and
Baba Yaga. It was a trip. And it was a good Baba Yaga, too.
She really was. Honestly, for that, I mean, there was a lot of like, I liked a lot of the monsters and stuff like that, but she was kind of the highlight of the movie.
She was good, Bob.
She was like super gross. Like
Giants. Fucked up giants.
Yeah, big ass giants. There's all kind of shit in this. It's always, it was just monster packed. Is what it was.
You know, some guy. It was definitely a comic book movie. It had a comic book tone to it, but I enjoy it. I like that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of fanboys from the comics that are going to try to find something wrong with the movie. Like they usually do, whine and cry about it. But just for a casual fan, and maybe people that have seen the first movie, I thought this was better than the first movie.
I did too, although I have to say that I prefer the first guy that played. What the hell is that guy?
Yeah, that was.
I can't remember his...
I think this dude did a good job.
He did. But the other guy, like, it's hard to fill that dude's shoes. I'm just saying.
There was something about that guy's voice, and you kind of associate him with that character. But he only did one movie. Yeah, that guy only did one. If they do another movie, I don't
remember seeing the sequel. There was a Hellboy too.
There was.
But as far as I remember, but I don't think I saw it. I just saw the first one.
I think his name Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Ron Perlman's
his name. Yeah.
And it was like right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Well, it's hard to fill that guy's shoes.
That's what I mean, like, because he's so awesome.
But this dude did a really good job.
He did.
Visually, that guy did it, and his acting was really good.
Yeah, he's like, it must be like really hard to act in like all that stuff. But
I think he'll be a good Hellboy.
Yeah, I think so too, because they're definitely like setting it up for more adventures.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.